I'm Monica Price and welcome to Cuppa TV. Joining me today is a young man who calls himself King of Talentless and the vainest man in Britain and has spent thousands of pounds on plastic surgery. It can only be Sam Barton. But joining me on the sofa first, we've got Adam O'Connor, a freelance composer who composes music for film, television and festivals around the world. He's based here in the West Midlands and he's here to share his story today. So first of all, I'm joined by my first guest, Adam O'Connor. Adam, thank you so much. Welcome to the show.
Pleasure.
Lovely to have you here. Before we talk about your CDs that are on the table there. So Adam, tell us, you're a freelance composer.
Yep, I make music for film, TV. So that's really what film composing is all about.
Fantastic.
Some of the CDs there are some of the albums I've done. But before that, I started as a rock musician.
Oh, tell us about that. So when was your, well, start at the very beginning, Adam. So where did you start? Did you, your love of music, was that from a child or?
I didn't really get into music until I was about 17, I think, when all my mates started playing guitar. Started wanting to play some crazy solos, as every young guitarist wants to do. Mainly, though, I got into it just because my brothers were into it, and I just felt if they can play guitar, I must be able to play guitar as well. So, and I must be better than them. That was the whole idea. But I moved on from that, and then during university, I started getting into more about creating my own music rather than just playing other people's music.
Was that always a passion of yours, to create your own music?
Yeah, I think to start with, it was a competition with my brothers, and then it was more about, well, what can I do with this? You know, I want to be a bit more creative than just play some stuff, and you know, I want to do something for myself, create something that I've done, and show other people what I can do.
Did you start on a keyboard? Did you, because quite a lot of composers have a keyboard, don't they, and start that way. Did you start that way, or? No,
I mean, I tried playing piano years ago, but I was not great at it. I've learned a bit more now, but as a guitarist, you don't really need to read music. You don't need to learn all these extra things. Sheet music is just not really necessary. You've got tab, so it makes it a lot easier to learn. And I was quite lazy at the time, so that made it a lot easier to choose that.
For you. And did you find when you started composing your music, did you find that was your passion? Because I know you play instruments. And it was
definitely. I found that I enjoyed it a lot more doing that. Don't get me wrong, I liked performing as well. I mean, there's a great buzz when you're on stage, you know, jumping around, playing some rock music. But for me, composition was, I felt comfortable doing it a little more than I was on the stage. Whereas my brothers, I think, more to do with, here's the limelight, I'm here. And
you've had some amazing things, though. I mean, tell us, your music's gone across the world, in fact.
Yeah, I keep getting some random information that I've had my thing played on a cruise ship, as the songs played here, there and everywhere. I'm like,
that's great.
It's crazy. I don't even know how they got the music.
Yeah, I was going to say, how does that work? Do they notify you? Or?
Yeah, I get notified that where it's been played, how many times it's been played and stuff. And it's just, it was crazy because we didn't really push the release of the first album we did, and all of a sudden it was on radio, BBC Radio 2, and you know, being played in people's coffee shops and things. And I didn't even know really how they found the music. I mean, this day and age, you've got so many artists creating their own music. You can have a home studio for, you know, a small budget. You can record in your bedroom, and it's good enough quality to release. You can just buy for like £20. You can release an album on iTunes and Amazon.
It's certainly moved on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's much more competitive.
And are they jingles? What they call jingles? Is it pieces that you've done as well as doing? Because you've done some video work, haven't you?
Yeah, I've done a couple of pieces for TV, like intro, title music. They're only short, like 9 seconds, like you say, and jingle kind of things. Yeah, I've done that most recently. I've been doing that. I do also compose like full, like scores for kind of film and things like that. And that's kind of an interesting thing because people go, well, hang on, you say you don't read music, how can you compose things with full orchestra
yes, interesting
sections?
question. Yeah, that's right.
And it's one of those things that I think this is where certain perspectives have moved on a little bit, because computers have aided production, and nowadays you can write without having to read music. Something known as piano roll.
What's that? Explain that.
It's when you use a sequencer and you've got a piano and it shows as it plays along, you can put the keys and they just look like blocks on there, and I can read. That's how I read the music.
And that's how you read it.
It's something that Hans Zimmer, a really famous composer, who does you've probably heard of him.
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
Have,
and his musical notation skills are not great, but he can see exactly what he's looking at on a screen and go, I want it there. This is how. And he composes a lot that way rather than normal notation.
And what kind of inspires you, though, Adam? Where do you get your inspiration from for your music?
For me, it's when watching. I'm a big lover of film. I watch films so often, it's insane. But when I go into a film and I'm watching it, the emotion of a scene comes from the music more than anything else. And when I'm in there, I get into the music just as much as I get into the scene of the film, what's going on in there.
I think that can be said for some really, I mean, you've only got to think of Jaws, for instance.
Yep, Jaws.
Just that one clip of music, and everybody, you'd only have to play that music, wouldn't you? And everybody would know
everyone knows
that came from that movie.
Yeah.
Is that what you would like to have
That's
one
obviously
day?
the aim, and
Yes.
you know, if I could, that'd be fantastic. But you know, it's a tough.
Is it tough?
It's a very tough industry. There's a lot of people doing it, like I said now.
And do you necessarily need to be in the UK, or do you feel you have to go to America?
You don't have to be in America to do it. There's plenty of avenues to go. Thing is, with music, you can compose and send it, and they send the video to you. Obviously, for film, if you want to do Hollywood stuff, you know, you've got to go there. Yeah, you've got to be there. You've got to be talking with the directors, the people, you know, and with the editors, and looking at the stuff that you're writing for. So it's not so easy to do that from abroad. But there's plenty of opportunities for TV, for even English film houses, productions.
Incredible.
So
tell us about your band then. So we've got some CDs here today. So that's your band. So is that 7 Days Late? Is that your band's name?
that was the second one. Yeah. So we started with Cartesian. That's the one that had one big song on it, "Running Away," that was played around the world. We then, same band, moved on to a different name because we wanted to change the kind of music we were doing. It was a lot softer.
That's a good name, 7 Days Late.
Yeah, we wanted to do a rockier, punkier sound. So we moved on to that, so we could probably do both at the same time. And that was when we decided we want to do some music videos, and so we thought, rock, kind of punky rock, we're crazy, let's see what we can do. Let's go to Vegas and film the music. Yeah,
let's go to Vegas.
It seemed like a good idea.
Quite right.
it was a good time, you know. It's a crazy holiday video. So.
And did you get a record deal or anything from it?
No, I mean, we were briefly in talks with Sony, and we did get an offer from some smaller indie labels, but for the smaller indie labels, we weren't sure that they were going to do much for us, so we wanted to do more management of our own, you know.
That's quite important to you.
Yeah, and even if you get signed by the big labels these days, you've got to do a lot yourself, and we just didn't feel we were established enough that if they took us on, we'd probably just get shelved anyway. We'd still have to do the work ourselves.
It's a tough industry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you feel it is tough? Is it a tough
It is tough. I think it's always been tough, and I think it's always been one that if you're lucky and you're in the right place at the right time, okay. Otherwise, you could work at it, and eventually you might do okay. And I think back in the day, I think if you worked at it a little bit harder, you probably do quite well. These days, though, there's so many avenues. People, YouTube and SoundCloud.
Is that beneficial, do you think, for the music industry, or is that actually a detriment to the music industry?
I think for people's creativity and the variation of music, I think it's great. I think for the times when YouTube can make you like a star. It's few and far between now. It's not the same as, say, you know, Arctic Monkeys. They put a CD here and then all of a sudden it started to spread, YouTube and things. Those days are gone a little bit because so many people are doing it. There's thousands of videos going on every hour. It's hard to be found.
So what's the future for you, Adam?
Future for me, I'm going to still continue to compose and just pitch for different shows, different ideas.
Are you working on anything particular at the moment?
I'm writing stuff for a few little things.
Excellent.
Just shows.
Well, you'll have to come back on to the show.
Yeah, when I've done
and tell us, when you finish them, tell us what you're doing, and then come back and share the story.
Yeah.
But it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on today.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure
Fantastic.
to meet you.
I've enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break now, so come back and join us after the break. Welcome back to Cuppa TV. I'm now joined by a young man who has seen himself propelled to national stardom, all because he wanted to look like somebody else. He spent all his time and money and been on a roller coaster ride during the process to look like somebody called Joey Essex. Let's find out more. Please welcome Sam Barton. Sam, lovely to see you. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on Cuppa TV.
No problem at all.
So, what brings you here? You've really had a really roller coaster ride, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been last 9-10 months have been absolutely crazy.
So, how did it all start, Sam?
How did it all start? I can't even remember where I was. I was just out and about. I think I was shopping and I bumped into a journalist. And I was just having my teeth done at the time, and she's like, "This is a brilliant story. We'd love to run it." This was for the Sun, and before I knew it, I was double page spread across the Sun, and everyone kind of wanted to speak to me.
And they tagged onto Joey Essex, did they? They tagged onto your lookalike.
That was kind of a one-off comment that I made about my teeth. We looked at a couple of different people's teeth. It was Katie Price, Rylan, Joey Essex, and I said, I want Joey Essex's teeth.
Oh, so that's all it was. It was
and
just
that's all
a
it
comment,
was.
and
And
that's it.
Still now I get called Joey Essex wannabe. I think it will stick forever.
But again, you've had your teeth whitened.
I've had them veneered. I've had 16 veneers, so they're not my teeth.
Fantastic. And let's talk about how much money have you spent?
Oh God, crazy amounts, scary amounts. About £55,000, I think. We've worked out, yeah.
So tell us how much it costs what?
Right, okay. Teeth.
Yes.
We start nearly £20,000.
Okay.
They were 17.5. Really funny story actually. When I went to have my teeth done, I went with £7.5 that I'd saved and saved and saved, and I was going to have a brace. And I walked in. I said, I want my teeth like that. He said, you can afford them. Like they're well out you. But I said, no. I want them teeth. I'm having them teeth. And I ended up putting £7,500 down as a deposit, and then finding myself in £10,000 worth of debt because of the rest. So.
But do you like your teeth? I mean, are you happy with them?
I'm happy with them. I think I'd have them done again, just because, like decorating a house, I suppose you get bored of things and you want them different. So I would have them done again, but I do like them.
And what else have you had done?
I've had my nose done twice, believe it or not. I've had shed loads of Botox, fillers. Lip fillers as well in my face. Yeah. What else have I had done? Tanning injection.
A tanning injection?
I've had a tanning
what's
injection.
That?
Don't do it. It's the worst thing I've ever done. It's literally just an injection. You use it in conjunction with the sunbeds.
All right.
But it made me so ill. I passed out and all sorts. Oh no. So sick, yeah.
So you just go on a sunbed, but you have an injection before you go on a sunbed?
Just an injection, a mil a day every day that you just inject yourself, and then you go on the sunbeds in conjunction with it, and as a result, you get brown, which is ultimately what we all want. Now
you've done what you've done, any regrets, Sam, on what you've done?
No. I wish I had my teeth done a little bit bigger. No regrets on what I've spent. I'll spend it again and again if I have to. No regrets.
Where did you suddenly wake up and think, I'm going to start changing my face? And did you look in the mirror and think that, or was it something that's come from...
Yeah, I was always unhappy with my image, always had been. And when I was 16, 17, I started using sunbeds and dyeing my hair and little things. And as I think surgery becomes more accessible to people and more easy to get, that's where the ball started rolling, and loads of pressures from magazines and TV shows such as The Only Way is Essex, but they've got the money, they've got the funding to do that kind of thing, as where at the time I didn't.
You didn't have the money. And do you think there is a lot of pressure on young people to look good, to make themselves look like perhaps famous people or people that are on the TV?
Huge amounts. If you watch TV shows like The X Factor, if you read about it in the paper, most of it is about, you know, which judge looked the best, and that's all people care about is how people look, and, you know, double page spreads in magazines of who's hot and who's not, and so I think there's massive pressure, massive pressure.
What would you say to somebody who's going to be going through the same, thinking, looking at you, watching this programme even, and saying, I want to do that? What would you say to them? Make
sure you're ready. I don't think there's no problem at all with having plastic surgery if you want to have it done, and if you're doing it for yourself as well. But just make sure you're ready to do it, definitely.
I think you've just said that, do it for yourself. I think. Do you think that's really important?
Yeah, really important. I think so many young people now have surgery for the sake of having surgery because it's become almost a fashion accessory. It
has become popular, hasn't it? Particularly in younger people,
really popular. And there's adverts for it on TV now and everything, because where 10 years ago, you'd never get an advert saying, come and have plastic surgery with us, would you?
Do you think there's a danger then that there's more people going to be sort of doing it, and then maybe you're not going to someone who's got the credibility perhaps to do it, have it done properly? I
think it's so addictive. It's so addictive, like anything can be. And I think that's a problem with it, because once you fix one thing, you notice something else. And if you're not really, you know, strong-minded, then you can find yourself in a rocky road.
It is a bit like decorating a house, isn't it? Because you decorate one room and you think, you go out to that room and think, oh, this room needs doing now.
And then by the time you finish a whole house, you start at the first room again.
And so, but you know it's addictive.
Yeah.
So again, that for you then, what else is going to be done?
Oh, where should we start? there is nothing. Me and my management were talking about this the other day. It was like, so what's next? And I said, there's nothing that I wouldn't have done.
Really?
There's absolutely nothing, apart from my boobs, obviously, because I haven't got any. But there's nothing I wouldn't have done. I want to have my nose done again. It's been a year last week since my last nose job, so I'm ready to have another one now. And vapor lipo as well, so like sculpting my body.
What's vapor lipo?
It like fake abs basically. So you get abs without going to the gym, and I'm so lazy, so lazy. I'd rather have the vapor lipo and eat a cheeseburger. So.
I mean, where has it taken you from when you've done all of this plastic surgery now, Sam? And it's been, you know, you have been on an amazing journey. Are you happy with where it's got you?
I'm happy with where it's getting me. I'm not ultimately where I want to be yet. And my confidence is 10 times better. I've got an old friend from school with me today, and if you ask her, she'll tell you that I never would have done something like this 5-10 years ago, because I just wouldn't have had the confidence to do it.
So that's fantastic. But I mean, with all that though, there's come a cost, hasn't there? It's taken all of your money, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, tell us about that. How has that affected your life?
At one point, I was in £30,000 worth of debt, which obviously is not just a worry for myself, a worry for my parents and my family. But it was kind of sacrificing my financial situation for my mental stability, and that was something that had to weigh up. But yeah, a lot of debt. We've had to consider going bankrupt. Obviously, it's something we're trying to avoid, which obviously keeps myself and my manager extremely stressed.
Yes, I could imagine. And there's also talk of suing the NHS for your nose.
There has been talk about it. Again, it's something that we're not too sure on yet. We've had endless amounts of people come and saying, you've got a really good case, no win, no fee, we can help you out. But it's something we'll think about a little later down the line when we're less busy, I suppose.
Now, talking of busy, so what's next then for you, Sam? What are you doing? What's the future?
I literally come out of here today and pretty much straight away start filming for an MTV TV show.
Oh, fantastic. Does anybody else know that?
No, this is an exclusive.
I love exclusives on Cuppa TV.
Yeah, MTV with Vicky Patterson from Geordie
Shore.
Oh,
how exciting.
So, and she's such a laugh, she's such great fun.
So what are you going to be doing? Is it your own show or is it?
There's going to be a couple of other people involved. It's kind of showing Vicky an insight to my life and what I get up to. So I'm going to take her and have some Botox done and whatever else and show the ropes of all that.
Fantastic. So is it a series or?
It's going to be a 6-part series. I'm not too sure how much involvement I've got throughout the 6 episodes, but it's taken up a lot of time. So I'd imagine it's quite
fantastic. So I mean, are you looking forward to that?
I can't. I love Vicky as well. We get on so well. So I'm looking forward to just having a laugh. It's like workout work, isn't it? So.
And then what about, we've also heard rumours of Big Brother.
Oh, have we?
Can we share any of those rumours? Can you give me an exclusive of that on Cuppa TV?
Do you know, I wish they'd tell me. I wish, the other day I read something in the paper and it said, a quote from Sam's manager, and I rang my manager, I was like, what's this about? And he was like, I don't know. So I don't know, I can't say anything. I don't know.
Can't say anything, so may or may not be.
Maybe.
If they asked you, yes, tune in and find out. Would you like to do it?
If they asked me,
yes.
I don't know, maybe. I think I'd go crazy in there.
Yeah.
It depends, well, it depends on the feed, doesn't it, I suppose.
You might be able to get your things done. You wanted.
Yeah.
But I mean, if so, you see yourself doing the MTV. So do you see yourself in the future doing more TV shows?
Yeah,
Sam, is
I
that what you'd like to do?
I have loads of fun with TV, and people get to see you as a person as well, don't they? Opposed to what they read, because what you read is not always. Well, sometimes slightly inaccurate, isn't it?
Yeah.
By the time Chinese whispers as it goes throughout different people. So
absolutely, I think you're right there, because people do they read something in the newspaper, then they have a perception of you.
Yeah.
Then when you go on television, you can actually, especially our reality show,
Yeah.
you can then show them the real you, really.
Yeah, and
So-
they can make up their mind.
So if anybody's looking at the show today and looking at what you've done, would you definitely say yes, go ahead and do it?
Go ahead and do surgery or sue the NHS or have it on.
Yeah, which one should we pick?
Avoid having it at the NHS at all costs unless you've got an extremely thick skin, that's what I'd say. But yeah, if you think it's going to make you happy, it's not, it's not going to ruin your life.
Fantastic.
And most of it's reversible anyway, so
excellent.
crack on, that's what I'd
Sam,
say.
it's been so good to meet you.
Thank
you so much for coming.
I've been so looking forward to doing this as well.
Thank you,
so.
and come back again
I will do.
after you've done the MTV.
100%
let me know how you get on. That'd
I
be
will do.
fantastic. Thanks
Okay,
so much.
thank you.
So that's it for today. I'd like to thank all of my guests for joining me. If you'd like to get in touch with us, please do, either on Facebook or Twitter at Big Centre TV, or you can email the show. Come back and join us soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Let's just say